Hello, this is Scott Carpenter. This is in response. I was watching Steve Ishtal's video, new 3/6/2023. It's just the photo of a Sasquatch. It says 2 photos sent in. And there's a lady who has a granddaughter and grandson in northern Indiana. Sorry, this is kind of a makeshift. Northern Indiana is the lady, and she was they're in rural, or it's not it's not out in the boonies, and they're having issues with Sasquatch inside the house, muddy footprints, muddy handprints on windows, orbs, hearing stuff running in the house and other things. And according to the lady, there's no it's just out of the blue, that no one's dabbling in anything occult, or no one's been squatching or any of that thing, anything like that. So Steve kind of looked in the camera and said, people, those who can respond should, or whatever. And so I guess that was directed kind of at me in a way. And I think she directed it to the Owl Man, and his advice is as good as there is. And but I felt like I should weigh in just a little bit, since I've had some experience dealing with these guys and dealing with property issues and encroachments. And so, and this is just what I heard, not talking to the lady. If there's no attachment, in other words, there's nothing occult, there's nothing, no Sasquatch encounters or anything like that, then we probably got a situation, in my humble opinion, where the Sasquatch could be coming to someone close by. Because the Sasquatch, when I was having home visitations, they were also doing stuff to the neighbors. And we had what we called the skinny black kid in the hoodie. And we were doing, we having peeping Tom activity. We were having, running through people's backyards, knocking out, busting out motion sensor lights, and just causing all kinds of general havoc. And I was the target, not my neighbors. And so it's possible that this family, it was not the original target, and there was someone that lived close by, or there could actually be a dominion issue. That's where the Sasquatch have been in the area for many, many years, before even people were even moved into the area. And so that's their territory. And so, they're taking dominion over it. But, in my opinion, this is extremely intrusive. And so from a practical, I'll give you the practical and the spiritual. From the practical standpoint, definitely you got to get motion sensor lights up. The passive infrared is a very good deterrent. A lot of outside lights. On the of course, on the inside of the house, once they come in, lights or any of that doesn't matter. But trail cameras, I know it's going to sound silly, but even trail cameras inside the house are a deterrent because of the passive infrared and the infrared itself when the camera is tripped. So even inside the house from a practical standpoint, putting, trail cameras in those rooms that they seem to show up in, or literally inside or right, pointing at the bedroom doors if they're coming in the bedrooms. Now, from a spiritual standpoint, if you're so inclined and a person of faith, you can rebuke these entities, and you would go to if they're inside the house, I go to every room in the house and earnestly pray, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you. I rebuke any, Satan, I guess how to say it. I rebuke it. It needs to be sincere, but I would rebuke any Sasquatch, any satanic activity. You're not welcome in my house. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and do that in every room. And it has to be sincere from the heart. It's a faith issue here. It's faith, and it's you putting your faith and calling on the name of Jesus to protect you. And I'd also go outside my house and go to the four corners of the property and say the same prayer. And before I went, every night and every morning when I woke up, at least I would pray for protection, that God would watch over me, and that these creatures, rebuke these creatures, protect you from them, and they're not, I rebuke them. They're not welcome on my property. Stay off my property in the name of Jesus. And so, do that and kind of see. I feel confident, unless we have a dominion issue where there's some attachment to that property, long-term standing before your arrival, that the rebuking will work if done in faith and earnestly. So that's, in a recap, from the practical standpoint, motion sensor lights outside, trail cameras outside, trail cameras inside. And that, like I said, that infrared, and then rebuking in the name of Jesus in every room of the house, and then in the four corners of your property, and daily prayer asking for protection, and just telling them to get away, leave you alone. So that's my 2 cents worth. Again, that was today. Steve Ishtal's, and the lady lived in northern Indiana. I had to write that down. So I hope that helps. I've had the experiences. I've had the handprints on the side of the house, footprints in the backyard, stealing the dog food, the orbs, strange things going on inside the house. Shadow people, water spirits, where I get wet footprints through the house, no source of water, and just weird, odd stuff like that. And like I said, I was, and my neighbors, unfortunately, though they were innocent, were, I was the catalyst to bring them here because of what I did. But the effect was my neighbors. And like I said, cops were called, the police, we had for that summer of that year, that they were teenagers. They were it was the juvenile Sasquatch that was causing all the havoc. And like I said, he was about 6'2", 1 or 2, about 220 pounds maybe, slender, and since he was, he had dark skin, and he had the black hair and a point. He looked like, everybody was calling him the black guy or the black kid in the hoodie. And no racial connotations. That's just what everybody called him, because that's what it looked like. It was a black, little black guy running around here with in a black hoodie, peeping Tom and a teenager up the street, and climbing up a tree and looking in her window at her, running around my backyard, running around the neighbors in the tree, and anybody that's watched my videos has heard it. So it's very plausible that's what's going on. So I don't do the mind speak. The owl man, I think, does. And I've already specified the reasons I don't like to open my mind, try to communicate with those things. And as far as I know, mind speak can work. It has no limitations or range, since it's a spiritual issue. So, and anything he can do and any advice that he gives, I definitely would listen and hearken to it as well. So with that said, God bless you guys. I'll pray for you, and hopefully you can get these Sasquatch and other phenomenon pushed out and away from you, and get some normalcy back into your life and a little bit of peace. So until next time, I will see everybody later, and God bless and take care.